Okay, welcome to Pick and Roll Coach Spotlight. We've got Christensen from Warwick with us tonight, basking in the glory of a fourth straight Section 2 championship. How special is that?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's just a credit to our guys and guys over the last couple of years, um, being able to get that done. And it's something I don't think I totally appreciate yet, but it's it's pretty neat.
That when you get to a certain level, that kind of level of consistency, I mean, you're talking about, a team effort over multiple years. That just doesn't happen. This has got to be the culmination of a lot of hard work and planning over a long period of time to get to this point, right?
Yeah, I mean it's having a really good staff from junior high up and having some guys that get kids to love basketball first. And they do Coach Weaver, Coach Cohan, and Coach Borden. They do a great job of getting those guys to just love it, and then all the way up through Coach Tobias and then the rest of our varsity staff. But it's always been led by the seniors wherever they were at that time, and everybody else just kind of following and seeing how they act and seeing how they do it, and just the next year stepping in. And it's pretty, I think probably the coolest thing for me is the guys who are seniors now, like Chase Kroll and Tate Landis and Avery and Fink and Adam Zimmerman. They don't even know any better. They just for 4 years, this is what you do. And I think that's probably the coolest part right now. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, that group of seniors, that's gotta be awful
yeah,
special that, they
yeah.
had never, other than a section championship, as long as they've been in school.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, pretty
Yeah,
crazy. So
and then there's a lot of pressure on now the teams that follow to, obviously, a streak like that takes on a life of its own, right?
yeah, I think the seniors really felt it actually. I don't know if they'll admit it, but I think they really felt it this year. Especially Tate, probably more Tate than anybody, just knowing that this is what I've done and this is how I need to finish it. Because you don't want to do it for 3 years and not do your senior year. So I think they felt it for a little bit there, and I'm just happy for them that we found a way to get it done, even though it wasn't the prettiest at times, but we found a way to get it done. So
Yeah, that was, as thankfully I was able to broadcast the game yesterday,
mhm.
and it was great. There was a kind of a collective, sigh of relief there on the court afterwards, and just because of the fact that you kind of had to do things that you don't normally do to win that game. But we talked about the fact of that can give a lot of team a lot of confidence going into the postseason, is that you can win games even though you don't have your A game, right?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was just was just the credit to the guys for believing and not throwing in the towel, and you easily could have, and believing in themselves and believing what we were asking them to do, and that's that can be a tough part sometimes, and they stuck together, they stuck it out when I'm not sure anybody else in the gym really thought besides them that they could come back and get it done. So but going in the playoffs and having a game that you came back like that, and having some close games is, I mean, I think it's super important, because that's how it's going to be. I mean, that's just how it's going to be with the teams you have coming up, and playing really good teams and really good programs the rest of the way, and they expect the same thing as we do. So you're gonna have to stick together and fight through some adversity in the postseason for sure.
Yeah, and only one technically non-league loss, but pretty much you've played, LL teams throughout, the season. Any fear of like the game shock of getting out and seeing a team from another league that, that you might not have seen, or that, man, these guys are good, and then the guys just kind of, turtle up and not really react like they should?
Yeah, so I think we try and do ourselves a favor ahead of time in the summer, and try to play as many teams not in our area as we can. So we go to West Reading. We play in the West Reading Outdoor League,
Sure.
which I think is just the
It's a
best.
lot of fun.
I think it's just the best league in Central Pennsylvania for the summer. No close, not even close to anything else. And then we do another package at the Nook where we ask them not to schedule us any LL team. So no, it's not the same. It's not the same intensity. It's not the same thing as like a regular season game. But I do think that helps us. That helps us prepare for what we can see in postseason and moving forward.
You're one of the most intense coaches that maybe I've ever seen out there. How did you, I mean, is that just part of your persona, or does like all of a sudden the competitive juices start flowing and you just don't know what happened? You just like go after it.
Yeah, I guess sometimes it looks probably more intense than it is, but I like to think the majority of it. Now we have our moments, but I like to think the majority of it's positive. It's usually game days. It's positive interaction. I'm more of like a cheerleader
Mhm.
than like yelling at people. But every once in a while, we have guys on our team that you got to jump on and fire them up, and hopefully we try and push the right buttons and get guys going. And but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to hide who I am. I mean, I like to think I coach the same way I played, and just intense and all out all the time. And I try to have it like roll over onto our guys too. And that it's just who I am. I'm excited to be there, and I think they are too. So I wear my emotions on my sleeve. So
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I think the important thing is that, that's who you are and your guys see that, I mean, they understand that, it's real and that's the way you are, that it's not fake. And, I personally always feel that that kind of emotion or whatever, like definitely permeates the team and helps the team. But, so talk a little bit about, the postseason now. You're heading into, the Lancaster Lebanon League tournament. What do you expect out of the tournament this year?
yeah, I mean, there's lots of good. I mean, if you look at just like the power ratings across the board of all the classifications, I mean, LL's got some in the top. So I mean, we're gonna play Columbia first, who's, I mean, I got so much respect for them and Coach Glover and their program, and I know what they're capable of. And they've got some senior guys that are just tough, and they're just players, and they play all year round. And I mean, we know that's going to be a tough one. And then from there, we take it one game at a
Yeah.
time. In districts, there's so much to be determined the rest of this week, so I don't even know. But yeah, we're just taking it and looking at that. And we have Swanko on Tuesday, so
Correct.
have them coming in and prepare, like, get ready for them, and then we go from there. So but yeah, we've been fortunate enough to be in the postseason the last couple of years. And we're excited to do it. So once we get there, we get going, we'll see who we got and go from there.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about, Tate Landis a little bit ago. Gosh, he seems like he's been around forever. I mean, he's been a contributor in your program since he was a freshman. And so talk about, Tate a little bit and what he's meant to the Warwick program.
Yeah, he's been around Warwick basketball. Um, I mean, I mean, we were watching on Blue Ridge. They have a playback the other night, and it was like 2012 or something like that. And I'm watching the game, and Coach Landis, who helps coach on our staff now, was the head coach. And I'm watching Tate's dad, and I'm watching, and I see this little blonde haired kid come in and start handing out waters, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then but yeah, he's been around forever. And I mean, he just works so hard. I mean, goes to weight room before school every day. I mean, people don't see what goes on behind the scenes that I've never asked him to do. And I think if you to be as good as he is, and other guys around the league that are as good as him is, it's not what they're doing with their coach. It's what they're doing on their own, and how bad they want it. And he wants it as bad as anybody. And I mean, like, even the game last night, he had to take 600 shots before the game, like at 9 a.m. And it's
Hmm.
just, and that's the stuff that we get to see. But and it makes sense to us why he is who he is. I mean, the work he puts in. So I mean, what he means to the program is just, it's just amazing. And for all the other guys to see it and the younger guys to see what it takes is important too.
Yeah. So, it's going to be a pretty special postseason. But how does it feel, for a guy like Tate and some of these seniors and what have you, when it comes to an end? I mean, and it's going to come to an end here. I mean, how do you console those guys? Whether it's been this group of seniors or other seniors, how do you talk to those guys? When their season over, and for a lot of them, their career's over.
Yeah, I mean, when I first got into coaching, everybody, you hear like the day you have to make cuts is the worst and this and that. And it's just not. I mean, the worst day for coaching for me is after the last game and it's over. And that's it. And if you've never been like on a team or you've never been like in that locker room at that moment, it's one of those things that like I don't think you fully understand. And for some guys like Tate, it goes on and they're going
Mhm.
to play again. They get to put on another jersey, and some guys that's it. And then they never wear another jersey, and it never played another competitive basketball game. So at that moment, there's not too much to say. It's more of just support. But especially and it's hard because it just means so much to them. I mean,
Yeah,
over the
it's
last couple of years,
cruel.
you just see it pour out of them, and it's just, and then you realize how much it means. And um but yeah, they're a special group, and I'm just excited for them for what they've done and what we're going to do moving forward. And we're going to enjoy the next couple weeks here and see what we can do. So
Yeah, fortunately, you do have a couple weeks left. You've got the Lancaster Lebanon tournament coming up. And then, it seems like you pretty much solidified the fact that, you're going to be in districts. So, fingers crossed they'll be, hosting a game
yeah,
and that. But, there's still a lot of meaningful basketball to be
yeah.
played. And so, what do you do differently in the postseason, when you're working with your team versus, say, in the regular season? Obviously, I think most coaches kind of scale practice back, a little bit, but there's sufficient amount of time between games where you can still work them hard. So, how do you approach postseason basketball?
Yeah, I think it's year to year, to be honest with you. I mean, our team this year, practices are pretty dialed back now. It's just we play 7, 8 guys, 9 guys sometimes, and and 5 guys taking a lot of those minutes, and they got to get rest. At this point, I mean, they know what we want to do, they know how we do things. It's more just, like, get yourselves ready to go. And for the first time next week, we're gonna have like a week, so yeah, we can get after it and work on some things. And um but yeah, and then I mean the LL week is
Yeah, that's a
insane. I
grind.
mean, it's I mean, we've lost in the first round, we've lost in the championship, and it's it is crazy. I mean, it's game, and then you prepare, and then it's game, and then you prepare, and then it's game, and you're just, by the end of it, you're like, oh man. But yeah, it's we'll get ourselves ready, and we'll take next week, especially when we have some time, and work on us first, and then get ourselves ready for, I guess, Columbia the next Monday. So
Well, great. Hey, look, you have some big basketball coming up. Four-time Section 2 LL champion head coach Chris Christensen. Hey, listen, thanks for some time. Thanks for taking a little bit of time here on your day off Sunday to talk some basketball with us on the Coach's Spotlight here on LL Hoops, my friend.
thank
So
you.
it was great seeing you yesterday. It was great to see you guys win all that. So many good friends out there. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much for letting me be a small part of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks for coming. We appreciate it, and it's awesome experience for our guys to be able to, and people who aren't at the game to get to watch the game on live stream, and it's pretty awesome. So I appreciate everything you do.
Well, listen, thank you very much. Hey, and we'll see you down the road in the LL tournament. Okay.
Yep. Thanks.
Take care, Chris. See you
All
later
right. See
now.
ya.
Have a good night.
Yep.
Bye
Bye-bye.
now.